Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sarah Liz and I'm back with another emergency card kit. If you're new to the channel, an emergency card is one where we make the cards ahead of time, but we leave the sentiments off. That way, when we have an occasion that needs a card, we can choose the card that best fits the recipient and the sentiment that best fits the occasion. To help you with this, on the 1st and 15th of every month, I release a free printable full of sentiments and a card sketch to help you build up your stash and make sure you're prepared for any emergency occasion. So let's take a look at the kit. This is volume 17. I'm calling it More Holiday Sentiments. We did holiday on August 1st. It was supposed to be Christmas in July, and then I was really sick. So there's a whole nother kit that covers sort of season's greetings and some Christmas. And so then I asked you guys, do you want more holiday, and what kind of holiday do you want? And I got responses back asking for all the things. So this is very nearly a double kit. I'm trying to cover all of it. On this first page, we have sort of sassy Christmas at the top, or sassy holiday. Some of it's not even Christmas necessarily. And then sweet Christmas and holiday at the bottom. Wishing you the gift of therapy to process this holiday season. Ho, ho, no. I've been watching you sleep. Santa. Happy holidays and good luck. Season's greetings from the naughty list. May your sweaters be ugly and bright. It's deck the halls, not your family. Slay all day. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Wishing you peace and joy this holiday season. Holidays are hard. You're not alone. Believe in the magic of Christmas. I believe in your magic too. Sending a spark of Christmas magic your way. 'Tis the season to be jolly and let it snow. So that comes in two versions. These are a 1 3/4 inch circle. And so the black circle is slightly larger than that. If you're using a die or a punch, the circle won't show up. And then this is the exact same size. I just left the circle off in case you're using a different size circle or a different shape altogether, then you should be good to go. As always, if you have requests for sentiments, please leave them in the comments below. I had a couple requests for New Year's sentiments, so let me know if you also would like New Year's sentiments. And then about 6 months ago, somebody asked me for like handmade by circles. And I was like, maybe around the holidays. I do a ton of handmade gifts. I don't know about you guys. And so I was thinking about doing a set that can be used as tags on gifts. So there's a handmade by option, a couple options that have like a to and a from. And so you could do like your 2-inch circle, right? And on the front, maybe there's a sentiment like, you better not throw this away. I spent 800 hours on it. And on the back, a handmade by or a to and a from, something like that. So let me know if you're interested in that. Otherwise, I might just make them for myself. And then any other sort of occasions that you've been thinking about, I just collect them all in a spreadsheet. And if I see there've been multiple requests, then I start checking in with you guys during videos and seeing what you're interested in. We're about to get out of this holiday season. So please also let me know if you're interested in Valentine's Day sorts of things as well. I did a Valentine's kit last year, but I know not everybody celebrates that or needs that. So I'd love to hear from you. On the next page, we have some Hanukkah at the top and then religious Christmas at the bottom, or the bottom 3/4 of it. So happy holidays, like challah bread. Happy Hanukkah, may your miracles be many. Tidings of great joy, oh come let us adore him. Joy to the world, a weary world rejoices, oh holy night. Wishing you all the blessings of the season. And I doubled these up. I'm sure you guys know it takes a really long time for me to come up with what I want them to say, and then the font pairings, and then the layouts for each of these. And so this was just a way for me to try to get some of what everybody had requested and try to cover it all in one kit. So hopefully that's helpful. It's available with and without the circle. Then we have strip sentiments. These are the same sentiments as the circles, but we have 4 fonts for each. So the sweet and sassy Christmas are the first 2 pages of the strip sentiments, same fonts as we've had before. And then the Hanukkah and Christian or religious Christmas are here as well in the same 4 fonts. And we'll use some of each in this video. Okay, so we have our card sketch is the very last page. And we will make one using a circle sentiment and we will make one using a strip sentiment. For our first card, I have a top folding A2 card base, and then I'm just going to start at the top and kind of work my way down through our layers. So this light gray card base covers the entire card. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And instead of using pattern paper, I used a piercing die. This is the Concord in 9th stitched stripe card front die. I love a die like this. It's not holiday, but it fits really well for all kinds of occasions. And it just adds a little bit of extra interest when I am struggling to figure out like what pattern paper might go together or what I'm gonna do to dress up that card. And so I have a bunch of favorites that do this kind of piercing pattern. I'll link this one below. If I think about it, if I remember, I will link some of my other favorites below as well. And that's gonna get me started. Then I have this pink layer. It's like a matte layer and a purple layer here. I have the pink layer is 3 by 5 1/2 and I've cut it out of red. It's gonna go here. And then my purple layer I've done in some pattern paper with some gold foil accents, and it's 2 3/4 by 5 1/2. And I am just gonna center this pattern paper onto my red. Again, this is paper that isn't holiday. When I'm shopping for pattern paper, I'm trying to be more careful. Like about a year ago, I gave away a giant stash of pattern paper because I found it was overwhelming and I wasn't going through it. And so I bought some holiday, and we'll use some today, but I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to be drowning in it all over again. Okay, so I love looking for things that have a little bit of gold foil detailing, or things that are sort of timeless. When I go to lay this down, I am just gonna eyeball it, right? I'm leaving maybe 1/4 of an inch on this left-hand side. If you wanna make it exactly like the sketch, you can, when you print this out, make sure it's printing at 100%, and then that's gonna be the exact same size as your card, and you can use it as a guide, okay? Next, I have this gray circle. That is a 3-inch circle. And I just used my Waffle Flower nesting circle dies. I love these because they're already cut apart. They come with a magnet. Watch me dump them everywhere. And they're every 1/4 inch. And then if you want the ones that would be in between, so they're every 1/8 of an inch, there's another set that's called the additional circles that will fill in those missing spots. So I cut that gray circle out of some red cardstock, and it's gonna go here. But I decided that I didn't want this to be just red, and I couldn't find a pattern paper I liked. So I also cut one that's 1/4 inch smaller. So that's a 2 3/4 inch circle. So I'm gonna go ahead and layer those up as well. I'm just gonna center it right in there, and it will have the same margin as I have kind of here with my pattern paper as well. Then I have this 2-inch circle mat for my sentiment that's gonna go here. I'm not very good at mixing and matching pattern papers. If you are, you absolutely could do just the red circle out of some pattern paper or replace this white circle with some pattern paper. Instead, I'm gonna build a little scene in here. Use what you have. If you like to stamp and color in images, maybe you build a little stamped scene. If you like to die cut, you can build a die cut scene. That's what I'm gonna do. This is from the Christmas Wreath add-on. This is a Spellbinders set that's sort of new, and it's meant to be like little pieces to put in and decorate a wreath, but I just like that there are so many really excellent Christmas pieces in here. And so I am gonna add this tree and then decorate it a little bit. And it's gonna come together really quickly because it's got these great etched details that make it look super fancy without trying very hard. I think I want some of these snowflakes maybe tucked behind that tree. So I'm gonna try to move quickly before that glue dries and it's stuck down for good. Once I have all of that glued down, then I can add this other circle. And again, I'm just kind of eyeballing it, right? I want to offset it, but I do want it to overlap that tree a little bit. I just think that visually that creates a little more interest. So I'm going to come in right about here, press that down. For my sentiment, you know if it's my card, I want one of the sassy greetings. So this one says, Season's greetings from the naughty list. And I just stick my punch in there and wiggle it until I can't see that black circle. And then I know that it's centered. And I will use some removable adhesive in case I change my mind later. And I will add that to my little blue circle. There is also in that same set this little ornament. And so I just took the topper from that ornament and I'm going to add that to the top of my circle sentiment. And I'm going to put a little bit of foam on here so it's at the same height as everything else. And that finishes up card 1. It's quick and easy, even with the die cuts. But if you want to make it even faster, just replace this here with another piece of pattern paper. For our second card, we're going to start the same way. I have a piece of pattern paper this time that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I think this is a pretty recent purchase for me. It's a Vicki Boutin. If I can find it, I'll link it. But really, use what you have. I know we all have been hoarding holiday paper for the longest time. So I'll add that to my card base. And then these two pieces are the pink and purple layer. I have this matte gold cardstock that's 3 by 5 1/2. And then this light blue one is 2 3/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And I used the Evergreen 3D embossing folder from Spellbinders. I love this folder. I have been using it a ton, though I will say it's a really deep emboss and there's a lot of it. And so I had to cut this twice because my paper shrunk up quite a bit the first time, and then it just looked really funny on my card. I'm going to add this to my matte gold cardstock using a different glue. I just think it grabs a little bit better on a shiny surface. If you didn't want to cut that much of a specialty cardstock, which is something I think really dresses up a card, you could instead use 1/8" strips along the side and it would give you the same look. It just doesn't have the same raised appearance. All right, and then I will add that to my card base. Again, I'm going to line this up so that I have about 1/4 inch along that left-hand side. I'm a rule follower. And so for a long time, if I was using a card sketch, I would make sure that my card matched the sketch exactly, especially if there were measurements given. But you don't have to. This is really just a suggestion. Maybe instead of a circle, you're going to do a wreath. Maybe instead of a circle, this is going to be a diamond or some other shape, right? Maybe you're going to omit this piece altogether. I'm going to add a sentiment strip, and you know what? I'm not going to put it right there. I'm going to put it somewhere else. For my circle, this is not 3 inches. I think it's 2 1/2. Yeah, that's a 2 1/2 inch circle. I am using, this is Santa's Festive Circle Crew. This is new from Spellbinders. There's a whole bunch of these. There's like the Festive Ornaments and then these Whimsical Winter Critters. It's a Nicole Spore collection from Spellbinders. It is the cutest thing I've seen in a very long time. And I hadn't played with it yet, so I was like, maybe I can put it on this card. So we're just gonna go for it. We're gonna build a little Santa, and he comes together really, really easily. There's all kinds of things you can build out of these sets, and I will try to pop some of them up on screen because obviously I get sample copies, and so I often don't get packaging that shows you what they look like. But I just think these are so cute. Okay, Santa comes with ears, but I don't think he needs ears that badly. So I skipped him, breaking all the rules today. And then I'm gonna put him maybe here-ish. I still like the idea of my circle hanging sort of half on, half off of this strip here. And then this ornament, I just think is so pretty. But if I try to tuck this here, you're not really gonna see the topper. So I think I'm gonna tuck it kind of underneath Santa, and we'll just hide that and pretend like it's not an ornament. I'm also going to layer it up because that cardstock is really thin and we're putting it on top of some embossed cardstock. And so I want to make sure it's not going to get all wonky. All right, I'm going to build up the rest of this die cut, which is really quick and easy. It's just 2 dies, really. And then I'm going to pop up my Santa with some 2mm thin foam squares, just because he's got a lot going on behind him. All right, and I'm going to just overlap him a little bit, and then I'll press him down. And then for my sentiment, I'm going to use this strip sentiment that says, "'Tis the season to be jolly." And I'm just going to bring in my trimmer and I'm going to cut this in half. I'm going to go right through the tick marks here in the middle. And I'm going to go right through the tick marks on the other side. Then I just need to connect one tick mark to the next on the edge of my trimmer. And that's how I'll know that I'm cutting a straight line. Okay. Once I get that one straight, I am going to flip this so that this is at the bottom and this is the line that I'm cutting, so that I'm squaring this off and making sure it's 90 degrees. If you have a perfect printer, it might have done that for you, but mine rarely does. So I just square it up and then I can go through and cut these pretty quickly. And all I have to do is look at one tick mark, either the top or the bottom. So there's my "'Tis the Season." And I'm going to use the inside of my finger guard to just line up the text and trim this down so that I have the same margins on the left and right sides. And then I have a piece of cardstock that is 3/8 of an inch wide. I am searching for strip dies that cut at 3/8 of an inch. So if anybody has one, I want to know about it. Tell me in the comments, because that would be fantastic. I have lots of strip dies, but none of them quite at that size. And I'm going to glue this down so that I have equal borders of red on the top, the left, and the bottom. And then I will just trim very slowly and carefully off this right side until that border looks the same as the rest of it. Maybe one more here. And that's it. Originally, emergency cards came from the idea that you don't have to put the sentiment on it yet, right? You can wait until you know what occasion you need a card for and then add the sentiment. But with the strip sentiments, I usually glue it to the card right away, but I wanted to show you that you can temporarily glue these on the same way that you do with the other ones. It's just that you have to put the removable adhesive behind the whatever that matte cardstock is, instead of putting it just behind the sentiment, since they aren't all the exact same length. So this one I've strengthened by adding a few extra pieces behind here because it's going to go kind of on top of things, right? And then I might just grab my removable adhesive. I'm going to add that all along that back strip. And then I might stick it down here instead. Ideally, I kind of like it here, but it's hard to do that in a way that can be removed or replaced. So I'm going to stick it at the bottom for now. And then I can decide later if I want to move that or if I want to stick with it. And that finishes up card number 2. Again, pretty quick and easy, even though I used a couple die cuts. 'Tis the season to be jolly. So that finishes up our 2 cards using today's card sketch. Let's take one last look at the printable. We have sort of our sassy holidays and then our sweet holidays down at the bottom, sort of heavy on Christmas, but some of them are a little more generic and you can get them both with and without the circle. Then I have a little bit of Hanukkah and some religious Christmas, both with and without the circle. Remember, there are 2 separate downloads. One has the American spelling and one has the Australian and British spelling. And then you can get all of those same sentiments in strip sentiment form. And there are 4 different fonts for all of those. And so you get nearly a double kit this time. And I'm really excited to use this one. And then we finish up with our card sketch that has all of our measurements, cutting instructions for the strip sentiments, and then the rectangle sentiments. So we didn't use rectangles this time. I know some of you still have them hanging around. And then ways to step up the sketch. I will do a stepped up version of this kit next week sometime, so be on the lookout for that. Let me know if you have other sentiment requests, if you're interested in the sort of holiday tag idea, if you're interested in New Year's sentiments, any other ideas that you may have. This download is completely free. All I ask is that you subscribe to my channel. So if you found this video helpful, if you like these card kits, please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, subscribe to the channel, and then when you click more or show more below the video, it will unpack the description box and you will find the download link all the way down at the bottom. If you're having a hard time finding it, like if it says it's supposed to be there and it's not, leave that in the comments. YouTube has been changing some of their policies on links. And so one of my videos, they hid the link and I don't know why that one was different than the others, but just know that and let me know and I'll get it fixed. I just have to create a new link for it. I appreciate you so much spending this time with me. I hope you enjoyed these cards and I will see you next time.